Hey there. I thought I would share a little bit about my Scentsy story, how I got started with Scentsy, a little bit of background, and give you a little bit of information that maybe will help you depending on where you're at in your journey or if you're thinking about joining Scentsy. So, I started with Scentsy in 2015. It was actually April of 2015. I had just had my second son. He was only a few months old, and I needed something for me. I needed something to do that would give me an identity outside of mom and wife. No matter how amazing those roles are, we know how taxing they can be. And I needed to do something that would be fun, something that I would enjoy that was just for me. So I found Scentsy. I always loved everything home decor and home fragrance, and it just was a natural fit. I work full time out of my house, did then, still do now. And it was just really something to fill my time with, something fun, a hobby. Life got crazy. My regular job got insane, and I needed to take a break. And so, after some quick start success with Scentsy, um, it just kind of fizzled out for me. It just wasn't a priority, and I actually quit. I quit in January of 2017. Fast forward several months later, my personal stash of Scentsy products was getting low, and I needed to place another order. And it killed me to give somebody else 25%. So I ended up actually reinstating my Scentsy account, which, if you are somebody that used to be a Scentsy consultant, you can do that completely free. And I joined Scentsy again in the fall of 2017, August of 2017 to be exact. I then sat down and really started to look at the business and understand what potential lie in front of me. How much were consultants really making? What were the successful consultants doing? The ones that I saw that were always earning incentive trips and who were able to do Scentsy full time. What did their business look like? I got inspired and I started following along. I went all in with Scentsy. Now, for me, all in meant late nights. It meant after my kiddos went to sleep, I would stay up and I would work on marketing materials or I would place orders or whatever. I would still fill my pockets of time that I could find with Scentsy. I now like to say that I work a full time job and I have a full time side hustle, but that's because I put in what I consider full-time hours into my Scentsy business, but it's still in those pockets of time, the evenings after my kids go to bed. Those types of things because that's what works for me. The beautiful thing about Scentsy is it is whatever works for you. So I, like I said, came back in August of 2017. In the spring of 2018, I earned my first all expenses paid incentive to Cancun, Mexico. And at that point, I was hooked. I knew no matter what it was going to take, I always wanted to earn an incentive. My husband and I were able to take our first all expenses paid trip to Cancun that January. Who doesn't want to go to January or Cancun in January? Hello, it's the perfect time of year. And I just fell in love with all things Scentsy events and travel. Later that spring, was it? Yeah, early summer in June, I promoted to director, which is the first level of recognized leadership within Scentsy. I promoted to director in June of 2019. In May of 2020, I promoted to star director. And in March of 2021, during a pandemic, I promoted to the top level of the company less than 4 years after reinstating. I hope that my story gives a little bit of success, um, inspiration to you that it doesn't matter how busy you are. What matters is, do you want it bad enough? Do you want to do something with this? And how will you find the time? How will you make it your own? No two stories are the same. That's what makes them special. And that's what makes them authentic to us. Now, I do want to give you a little bit deeper into my story. So, what happened after I promoted to superstar director or the top level of the company in March of 2021? I'm going to be honest, it wasn't all rainbows and sunshine after that point. I had imposter syndrome bad. I was now a tiny little fish in this big, huge pond of really, really impressive leaders, people that I have looked up to my entire journey. All those people that I told you that I was following to get to where I was going to be, right? Those people that I found that were being successful and I was following them. And that's how I grew my business over the course of 3.5 years. I was now in their pond and I was sitting at a table with all of them. And I allowed myself to feel less than. I allowed myself to feel inferior or that I wasn't good enough. I hit some bumps in the road with some of my team members, with some of my leaders, and I allowed the opinions of others to hit me where it hurt. I allowed it to impact my business for far too long. And just like the business of itself and reinstating and deciding that I was going to get myself up out of there and I was going to write a story where the comeback was going to be so much stronger than the setback, it's exactly what I had to do this winter. I had to get myself out of my own way. I had to tell myself that I am not a number, just like you are not a number. I am not defined by whether or not my group is paid at title. I am not defined by whether or not my leaders keep their title. I am not defined by anything else other than the work I personally am willing to do. And so that is what my journey is about today. In a business like this, in life in general, your why, your reason for getting up every day, it's going to change. And my reason for getting up every day right now is that I can be the best version of myself every single day. That I can do things that I love to do, which is share this amazing product, spoil the heck out of my customers, get creative with my marketing, lead and inspire others, and do it the Johanna Luna way. That is my story. That's where I'm at right now. And I cannot wait to see what the next chapter brings.